Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Lucas. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, requesting any type of videos, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And Lucas wanted me to do a commentary on the first Pirates of the Caribbean. And let's get into it. It's a pretty lengthy film, like 2 hours and 14 minutes, give or take. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. So we have the embers floating up just for Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. And then we have the fog bank and the ship is coming through. Now, from what I read up, the director did not want the Curse of the Black Pearl subtitle because technically the Black Pearl is not cursed. It was the other ship that was cursed. And they just felt it wasn't. But I think Michael Eisner, I think it was him. He was like, no, I really want this on there. In case there's sequels, and then you could put other subtitles on there. Which eventually became the case, because there's been 5 of them so far. Now, this film I might have seen in the theater back in the day. Because 2003 was one of those years where I went to the theater a lot and saw Terminator 3, Bad Boys 2, the 2 Matrix sequels, Hulk. A lot of films in 2003 I saw in the theater, so I think this was one of them. Because liking Johnny Depp, the trailer seemed exciting, big budget take on pirates, which is very surprising that this film was a hit. Because usually this film, or type of film, they would bomb. I mean, probably the last film that dealt with pirates before that was a hit was what, The Goonies? Give or take? Because especially in the 80s and early 90s, you had the Pirate movie, which is a very weird film with like these 2 teens in love, and then there was like pop music, but it's a pirate movie. And very weird bit of business. Then you had the film Pirates, directed by Roman Polanski, starring Walter Matthau, and those 2 were flops. You had, what was that movie? Treasure Planet animated film, which was a sci-fi take on Treasure Island. Treasure Planet bombed. The Sinbad movie with Brad Pitt voicing the character, I think DreamWorks released that. That film bombed. Cutthroat Island, of course. Can't forget that. That film bombed. I know people have said that's the movie that killed Caracol. Some would argue that studio was already dead before they made that film. So take that, however you want to look into it. But Cutthroat Island was a bomb. So that's the thing. Unless you were the Goonies, if you made a pirate film, unless you went back in the day of Errol Flynn and those movies, your film would bomb. I think that's why people assumed this film would bomb as well. Because, oh, it's another big budget pirate movie, and they were, in the 80s and 90s, were known to bomb if you delved into that genre. But I think this one, it had a big it had a big enough of a budget to have very grandiose action sequences that people that want to go see films in the theater to see a spectacle to get their money's worth. Johnny Depp, his performance, there was a lot of word of mouth on how great and weird and quirky it was, and it was. Now, when you keep doing that over and over and over again, some people get a little bit tired of it. You know, I don't know if you needed 5 Pirates movies, and I know they're trying to do a 6th one, but especially the first time, it's like, wow, okay, as he has said himself, Johnny Depp was being Keith Richards. Because he thought of, well, what if pirates were like rock stars? So he played him as if he was like consistently drunk or all this other stuff. It's very unique. Easily, I would say, is Johnny Depp's most popular character. And he did a phenomenal job. You know, I've seen the second and third film, and I don't remember anything about them. And I don't know if I ever saw the fourth or fifth one. I remember seeing the second and third one and not being impressed. Does it seem to like go on a while, like long running times? Which the director Gore Verbinski, he has a bad habit of that. Now, the director Gore Verbinski, I do like a chunk of his movies. And I got the subtitles on so I could have this off for a bit and follow along. But Gore Verbinski, he did Mouse Hunt. I like Mouse Hunt. That's a funny, goofy, silly movie, but that's kind of a take of slapstick of yesteryear and Nathan Lane. I mean, Christopher Walken has an interesting role as, I think, the exterminator. I mean, Nathan Lane, I forget the other guy's name. Thought they were good in it. So Mouse Hunt is fun. I do like the remake of The Ring. I think it's one of the better remakes of that time period. I like it more than the original. But this definitely put him up. And then he did the second and third one. He did a film called A Cure for Wellness, which I do like. It's too long of a movie. But A Cure for Wellness I did like. It has a really intriguing visuals in that film. I got intrigued by the story. And then you had The Lone Ranger. Yeah, I was going to say I knew that was going to break. Well, of course you know. You've seen, like, I haven't seen this film in a long time. Like, a long time. But yeah, the Lone Ranger was not a fan of. I think that's Gore Verbinski's worst film. I hate The Lone Ranger. That film didn't know what it wanted to be. It wants to be this goofy, silly movie where, in the flash forward, Johnny Depp is talking to a kid and he's got like a fake bird on his head, but then it's also a movie where the killer eats the Lone Ranger's brother's heart. He's a damn cannibal. I mean, what the fuck? It just did not need to be. It did not need to be that long. The Lone Ranger was kind of a pussy in his own movie. It was more of a Tonto movie until you get to that train action, and that train action scene is very well done. The action scene with the train is very well put together scene. That's a really good scene. To me, I would just rather just watch that scene and not the whole rest of the movie. But I know he's baked in another film. I forget what it's called. I think the plot was someone from the future goes back to the past and gets help from people in a diner to stop this AI rogue artificial intelligence thing. I don't know. I think Sam Rockwell's supposed to be in it. But like I said, I do like this film. I like the Ring remake. I like Mouse Hunt. I like A Cure for Wellness. So there's more of his I like than dislike. Now we have Keira Knightley. She was in Pride and Prejudice. She was actually in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. She was the decoy of Queen Amidala. And then the other guy, the guy was Orlando Bloom. Orlando Bloom was... He's been in a lot of stuff. Orlando Bloom, he's known for... fun reveal. You think he's on this big ship, and he's instead already after the mutiny. It's a nice fake out for the audience. But yeah, the Orlando Bloom, he was in Troy, he was in Kingdom of Heaven, he was Lord of the Rings, as he's most famous for. This is such a great way to reveal your lead character, is this whole bit where the boat is sinking, and as soon as he walks on. I remember that. I thought that was such a cool sense of timing. Kind of like the Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton. You didn't get to see the whole thing they cut. That would have been better if they didn't cut and you just had them literally walk and keep going, but close enough, I guess. I guess 3 shillings is better than nothing. But yeah, Orlando Bloom, he was also in the Hobbit films, playing the character he did in the Lord of the Rings films. He was in, I think, the first 3 of these. I think he appeared in the 5th one. Same with Keira Knightley. But they definitely spent the money on this because you have such a grand scale for the movie. And this film did very, very well. I mean, I think the franchise has made like $4 billion among 5 films. Now, the music is definitely a solid part of the movie. Now, it's credited as Klaus Badelt, but I've read up that apparently, like, Hans Zimmer said, "Let this guy do it, because I'm going to be busy with The Last Samurai." But then I've heard that he went in and he helped out and he wrote a lot of the music himself, and so although Klaus Badelt is credited, it seems like Hans Zimmer came up with more of the music. So I don't know if Hans Zimmer deserves more credit or the other guy. At least I thought the Black Pearl was Johnny Depp's ship. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, sometimes I do get some facts wrong because it's been a long time since I've seen some of these films. So sometimes I do get a few details mistaken. But yeah, I guess it's because of Johnny Depp, and again because of the bid steal, the proceedings is what made this a hit compared with the other films. Because Jack Sparrow, again, is such a unique performance that Johnny Depp gives that a lot of people had a lot of word of mouth, and even when you watch clips in the trailers, okay, what this guy's doing something a bit different, and definitely drawn to his character. Again, sorry about the clearing of the throat. This is a pretty long film, and I probably won't have a whole lot to say because I bet, I think also with Johnny Depp's character, it's one of those things where like he seems like a buffoon. He seems like he's a guy that's way in over his head, but deep down he really is the guy that kind of like a Columbo or Adrian Monk, like these characters that seem like they're not the guy to believe in. They're not the guy to really get behind. Ash from Evil Dead. Well, they have some kind of demeanor, but really at the end of the day, they're the guy that you want helping you out, and they're really the guy that's the most dependable. See, you just watch Johnny Depp and you see like the way he has his hands kind of doing this, the way he acts. I know some of the people in the making of the film, they weren't sure on the way Johnny Depp was acting. They weren't sure if it was going to work out. I think Michael Eisner, he's like, oh, he's ruining the film. Well, he's the best part of the movie. He's the thing people remember the most about it. Now, of course, the dad on the, well, not here, but the right, Keira Knightley's dad is Jonathan Pryce, who, of course, was the bad guy in Tomorrow Never Dies, the James Bond film. He was Jack in Jumpin' Jack Flash, the Whoopi Goldberg movie, where for the most part you just heard his voice, and then you do see him at the very end of the film when he pops up. Very nice. I mean, it definitely gives that sense of adventure, some really good stunt work, great music too. I think this right here is when people really got into the movie. They see how good the stunt work is done with a an A aesthetic. It's not as a cheap, campy B movie. It's, oh, this is actually very well done stunt sequences, choreography, doing it for real in camera for the most part. And then you have this rousing score that gets the audience adrenaline pumping. You have this intriguing lead character who's quirky and fun and not typical or generic. People see all that, they go, okay, we're in for something. We're in for a ride. We're in for something a bit different. This is where he meets Orlando Bloom. This also showcases he's a man of planning. This is a guy that will think outside the norm to get what he needs done. Yeah, you better shoot the donkey. Just got some taste of burnt ass. And Orlando Bloom, I thought did a fine enough job in this as well. He's, as some would say, he's more like the Errol Flynn, straightforward, swashbuckling hero, and then you have Jack Sparrow, very unique, different type of character. It was quite a busy number of years, though, for Orlando Bloom. You had three Lord of the Rings films. You had three Pirates of the Caribbean films. I don't even remember. I don't even know what he's doing nowadays. Well, he came back for those Hobbit films as well. I'm sure if he had an agent worth a spit, he would have gotten enough money from these movies alone to have a bit of a retirement plan. Good choreography as well. And nice rousing music, good choreography. You mean now? See, this here works fine because it's real people on this balancing act, and it's still nicely done, stunt wise, choreography wise. That gives you a sense of, oh, that's impressive, a sense of wonderment. But then I think in the sequels they try to be even bigger. So then, for what I remember, they implement like more CG. At least that's what it seemed like to me. But again, I haven't seen the second and third one in a long time, so maybe it's one of those things with the first film. It kind of told its story to to its ending, and I'm like, did we really need any more story? Was there anything really much more to tell? But apparently, four more. I mean, that scene alone gives you this inclination that this pirate can't be that bloodthirsty. If he could have easily killed and shot and gotten him out of the way, and yet hesitated and stopped. And again, how much of a bloodthirsty pirate can he be? Now I know this is an ode to the ride, the dog with the keys. I think when they were started making this film, there was at one point some kind of memo of, can you keep the references to the ride at a minimum? Because I'm sure that, okay, it's based on a ride. Will people really care? Will people really give a shit that it's based on a ride from Disney? But I mean, the success. I mean, you had other films. You had the Haunted Mansion. Well, two of them now. The one with Eddie Murphy and the new one that came out a year or so ago, which I didn't see that new one. I don't know if anybody fucking did, to be honest. I don't think anyone gave a shit about it. I think in the making of the film, like before they made it, they weren't sure if this was going to be a film that would go into theaters. Do we want to make it on this big of a budget? Do you want to make it direct to video? Because they weren't sure. I mean, because like I said, pirate movies had been known to flop, especially big budget ones. So when you look at that track record, I mean, it's like westerns nowadays. A lot of westerns nowadays, and I say that like the past 10 years have flopped, or longer than that. So you really have to have lightning strike at the right moment to really get a pirate movie or a western to the mainstream masses. There is no specific formula, because if there was a specific formula, all the other studios would do it, and you have a dozen huge box office hit pirate and western movies. It's not the case. The Black Pearl. Good question. If there's no survivors, then where did the stories come from? Like I said, they definitely give you some bang for your buck. But that's crazy. I mean, even back in 2003, you had films like this, and it still seemed like much bigger event than nowadays. Now I can't remember all these actors' names that play the pirates. I don't know what I think. What it is, what I got confused by earlier, is I'm reading something up, and again, Michael Eisner had said he wants the Curse of the Black Pearl, and then other people would say, "Oh, but it's not like the ship." But this, I don't know if like they, I don't know. Maybe the people who telling that story they got confused. Maybe they had not seen the film like I had and didn't tell their story right, and then they should have revisited the film, I guess. But yeah, look at all this, like all done for real in camera practical, real explosions, real stunt people flying about, real fire, to sell the illusion and make it much of a bigger deal, bigger threat. To try to make it more legitimate. Now, those wide shots, of course, those are CGI. They just don't give a fuck. They'll kill if they have to. Well, if they want to, honestly. Not even if they just have to. If they want to. Definitely shows a contrast to Jack Sparrow, where Jack Sparrow was not willing to kill Orlando Bloom, but these guys are ready to kill whoever they want to. I also remember when I watched the film, one of the things that I don't know if I knew this, because I think I saw the trailer, but I might have only seen it once, and I didn't remember. That's a nice shot. God getting hit by the damn cannonball. But I don't think I knew going in it was going to be like a supernatural movie. So yeah, I don't know if I saw maybe it was like a TV spot. I don't know, something I saw. I didn't remember much of the supernatural stuff, so when I found out that was the case, I thought that was a cool detail. I do remember this one bit with his eyeball and him whispering, that part of the marketing. Yeah, that right there. Oh, Trevor Goddard. I forgot he was in this movie. That guy there who just got hit and smashed through the window, that's Trevor Goddard. May he rest in peace. He was Kano in the 1995 Mortal Kombat film. He was also in this Dolph Lundgren film, Men of War. So, sadly, he passed away. Must have been soon after this. So that's, I forgot he was in this. Yeah, of course, breaks their prison cell, but not his. Ah, the moon, yeah, showcases more of their undead qualities. Even though they said, they didn't want to reference the ride, I think this one was just, it's something people remember so much from it that it was hard to deny referencing that bit at least. That's a cool reveal, too. Yeah, June 2003, so the same year this came out. So this was, yeah, yeah, June 2003 he passed away. So this film might not even been out yet. When did this film come out? Specifically. Was it July? Yeah, July. So he passed away before this film even came out. Yeah, Jeffrey Rush. Jeffrey Rush won the Oscar for Shine. He was in Shakespeare in Love, The King's Speech. He was Peter Sellers in The Life and Death of Peter Sellers. I remember him from the House on Haunted Hill remake in 1999. And he did come back for some of the sequels, even the last one, Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's interesting. According to the commentary, Jeffrey Rush has a theory that people watch the screen from left to right, like when they read a book. So you try to be on the left side of the screen as often as possible. Well, in that instance, he was on the right. But yeah, I noticed that before, a lot of times he was on the left side of the screen. Clothing and smears of charcoal were used to conceal Johnny Depp's numerous tattoos. When casting for this role, it was up to Orlando Bloom or Heath Ledger. Gore Verbinski chose Orlando Bloom because Lord of the Rings felt he was more bankable. Apparently, Robert De Niro was offered a role, said no, thinking, hey, Pirates films bomb. He regretted it, and that's why he accepted the role in Stardust as Captain Shakespeare, which was a bomb. This is not just the fact it was a pirate movie, it's the fact of how well it was made. Gore Verbinski greatly disliked the addition Curse of Black Pearl because it's the Aztec Gold that's cursed, not the Black Pearl ship. As a compromise, Disney's marketing department agreed to print the subtitle in as small of a font as possible. So, this is when Jack Sparrow knows. This is where he knows who this guy is. Because as soon as he hears the name and mentions the father, he's like, okay, I know who this guy is. This guy is very much needed. And because he's a guy that, definitely plans ahead. Music is very good in this. It's like, just stop and get your damn foot off it. I wonder if that actually works. Like, if you have that so far underwater, you just still have it upside down and it wouldn't flood the whole thing. Like, would that actually be a thing? Because I don't think, I don't know how it would be. See, I don't know how that works. Like, they're on the ocean floor before and they're able to still have up to here no water. I don't know how that works. If someone could explain that, let me know. I'd love to hear. If so, which is ironic because eventually we'll hear that's the best pirate I've ever seen. It's a nice trick. Sight. Everyone's over there. Time to steal the better ship. Using your head, using your brain. Not anymore. Bye bye. Yeah, but do you really? Yeah, of course. Do you really think they're gonna leave the guns there? Uh oh. Get the fuck out of there. There you go. There you go. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. Again, it's one of those interesting satisfactions when you have a character that seems like he's dumb and he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's capable of. I think also what makes this work is that it's a pretty straightforward story if you think about it. You have the Okay, this may seem a reach, but you have kind of the cool guy Han Solo type. You have the more clean cut hero, the Luke Skywalker type. They gotta go save the princess, or in this case, Keira Knightley, the Princess Leia type. Mario and Luigi gotta go save the princess. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker gotta go save the girl. These two gotta go save the Keira Knightley. I deserve that. Oh, I deserve that. Yeah, even the doctor and argue, yeah, be best to combat the smell in that way. So I'm not saying that. I'm just listening to the dialogue. It's been forever since I've seen this. Well, there you go. I think this is going to be around the time where Tyra Knightley's going to find out that they're the undead. Because I always remember the shot where, like, Jeffrey Rush, you better believe in horror stories. You're living one. You see, like, the skull. Now, granted, a lot of that's done in CGI. I would have preferred much more of a practical nature, makeup effects on that. But it is what it is. I think even the one guy's eyeball, I think that's CG. Yeah, fish. Was never a big a fish guy. Can never get into fish. Damn, really get into that turkey. And got the rolls too. Even Jeffrey Rush is like, I don't know what the fuck to say about this lady. I don't know if he's like getting hot and bothered or horny or what the deal is. So here we're getting to the exposition of the Aztec gold and what it means and the curse and all that, how it implements and how it implement into the crew and all that. Now the ride itself, I think back to the day I was on the ride, but man, I couldn't remember a damn thing about it, to be fair. I couldn't tell you a damn thing about that fucking ride. I really could not. Because to be honest, like Disney, I got the subtitles, gonna have this off for a bit. The Disney parks, Disney World, Disneyland, I've been to them, but it's been so long. Disney World, I went to when I was a child, like 1991, 1990, like somewhere in that, and I don't remember a thing about it. And then, what was it? Disneyland, that's one where I think that was when my brother, he graduated from the Marine Corps, and they had the ceremony in California. And since we were there, it's like, oh, we'll go to Universal Studios, Hollywood, and Disneyland. Even then, I don't remember a damn thing about it, to be honest. That one I remember a little bit more. Like the Indiana Jones ride, I remember being fun. I do remember quite enjoying the Indiana Jones ride. Probably Universal, I remember those bits more. But even then, it's still vague. Like I know way back in the day, when I was at Disney World. Well, no, Universal Studios Florida. I know that I was on the Hanna-Barbera ride when you had like Scooby-Doo and all these other characters. Back to the Future, I know I was on that ride and that was a fun one. I think the I think the King Kong one was not working, but it might have been on the Earthquake one maybe. The ET one I know was not working. Here we see all the undead. See the way they're cursed and the damned. Even the monkey is a damn weird zombie. Undead. Ghost stories. You're living one. So it was not horror stories, it was ghost stories. You start believing ghost stories, you're in one. So yeah, the idea is that they're thirsty, but they can't drink They do pour stuff down, but it doesn't keep. They do be hungry, but they can't get the satisfaction of fulfilling their bellies. They can't feel anything, all that jazz, so they're trying to find a way to break the curse. Okay, is that who I think it is? It is. I forgot. Zoe Saldana. Yes, Zoe Saldana, who she was in the Guardians of the Galaxy as Gamora. I forgot she was in this. I completely forgot because, of course, Zoe Saldana is now known for. I mentioned Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, 3, and she was in some of the Avengers films as a character. She was in Avatar. She was in the Star Trek reboot as Uhura. Emily Perez, which was a god-awful film. Because I'm sitting there going, is that who the fuck I think? Oh, shit. See, that's how long I forgot. Well, when I first saw this, I didn't know who the hell Zoe Saldana was. I don't think anyone did. Because it wasn't until afterward that you had those other films like Avatar, like... And even Avatar, she's all in blue. So unless you do her voice, I should say. So she's been green, and she's been blue, and she's been a pirate. I remember the finale of the film where you think Johnny Depp's character has been killed, but he's taking the gold, so he's been cursed, and that was his line of planning. In case he did get stabbed, he would still survive, and he'd be cursed. And his reaction, oh, that's interesting. Always looked at as like bony self. I remember that being kind of a fun twist. So I loved Orlando Bloom's like attempt to mimic Johnny Depp. He roped a couple of sea turtles. What do you use for hair? I mean, what do you use for rope? Human hair from my back. Wasn't there a sequel where they did have him ride like sea turtles or something? I swear there was a sequel where they actually did show that. I could be wrong. Wasn't there? Maybe not. No, I guess not. Yeah. It's just left to the imagination. I think like in the sequels there are some other types of sea life that is utilized into the story. So oh well. And yeah, I'm sorry that I don't have much to say. It's just I saw this film in the theater. I enjoyed it for what it was. I got this film on DVD. I don't even know if I still have the DVD. Since 2003, I watched it a second time on DVD when I first picked it up. And I might have seen it since then, because in the theater, then once on DVD. I might have seen it one more time, which means this probably would be the fourth time watching it. Maybe the fifth. So fourth or fifth. That's it. So this is not and it's not because I think it's a bad film. I think it's a very good film. It's just there's so many films, and there's only so much time, and with the films I just watch more and more, stuff like Aliens, Predator, Hard Target, a very different type of movie. They find out that the curse is not lifted because she's not the blood of Turner, which they need to lift the curse. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why she takes the gold coin. I guess as leverage. I guess as leverage. But don't they need the blood of the person as leverage as well? It seems like they need the blood of a Turner, so that would be leverage enough. But I guess the coin just extra. So I saw Trevor Goddard there in the back. So sadly, he doesn't have a whole lot to do in this, Trevor Goddard. Other than that one bit that we saw again slammed through the glass window. Once in a while you see him in the backdrop, but that's it. That's a shame. Because Trevor Goddard, again, just Kano in Mortal Kombat, the 1995 movie, he did such a good job just being a sleazebag, a slime ball. And then Men of War, he was a good villain. Especially in that fight with Dolph Lundgren where they're in this cave. Welcome to hell. There's Trevor Goddard in the back there again. He's on the left there. And as we come to find out, Jack Sparrow is a guy that loves to twist and turn and play both sides to hopefully his own benefit. Sorry, again, I'm listening to the dial. I haven't seen this in a long time, so that's why I'm being quiet. I apologize. So, like I say, it's a film where I haven't seen it in so long. So when I'm listening to the dialogue or reading it through the subtitles here, that it's like watch it for the first time all over again. So I do apologize. Jesus, if it was a bad film, then I could make fun of it, talk shit about it, and that's fine. It's like I don't care what they're saying because I already know, I already have feelings how bad and awful it is. So the less I pay attention, the better in a way. But when it's a good film, it's a film I haven't seen in a while, it draws my attention. It makes me, okay, let me just listen to it again. And that's the thing with, yeah, I think about life in general. As I know this is going to sound really weird off tangent, but bear with me. Life is so fleeting, life is so short. And say you're someone who's into movies, and not someone who's into sports as the main thing in your pastime, watching sports or playing sports or video games, or you're singing, you're playing music, you're dancing, whatever the case, hobby it may be. There's only so much time each day and each week and each month that you could get into certain things. And with movies, there are so many movies that have come out in the history of cinema. And there's movies that you think of all the things that you get busy with your work, busy with your life, busy with your loved ones, your family, your friends. Oh, I'm gonna watch something here that my friend did, on YouTube. I'm talking about nowadays. And then, oh, there's a new movie coming out. I mean, you look at streaming, how many movies come out every week on streaming? They disappoint of, well, how often do you get to revisit, rewatch a film, whether you liked it or not? It's very tough. So I guess my point with that whole rambling was, okay, first, I didn't. He's talking right in the way of it. Although I think this is a good film, how many times am I going to rewatch it? That's why, again, on a tangent, I don't buy as many movies as other people do. In terms of, people will spend $400 in one sale at Vinegar Syndrome or Tino Lorber or Arrow Video, and I don't really need to do all that because I'll sit there and go, okay, how many times, even if let's say I like the film okay, how many times am I going to rewatch this film? How many times am I going to revisit this film? How many times is this a film where I'm going to be watching And if it's like, okay, I watch it when I did it, and then maybe 4 years later, 3 years later, I watch it a second time, and then after that, probably be another 5, 6 years, and then I watch it again. If it gets to 20 years, and you probably think maybe at most 5 times, do I really need to upgrade it, or can I just stick with what I have since it's only going to have maybe 5 more times of usage anyway? Unless it's one of those films you absolutely adore, you can watch, a weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Or it's such a special edition, it's one of your favorites. You just want to experience all the details and deleted scenes and extended cuts and documentaries and all that jazz. That's why, for me, the Blair Witch Project, the Hitcher, those type of sets. So, anyway. That does look cool, the way that ship is just trailing this cloud of fog and darkness and rot. I just like that he puts the damn thing right in the cannon on as well. Oh yeah, is it going to turn like a side swipe to get across here, to then shoot all the cannons? Like a car doing like a 180 or something? Or doing a slide? Kind of like Will Smith when he did that slide in Bad Boys 2. Now show him your badge. Oh, I guess maybe this is more like a 180. Yeah, more of a 180. Get them right to the side. But yeah, but they have a bit of a benefit because they can't fucking die. It's like, okay, you go ahead, but we can't fucking die, so it don't matter if you do all that. Although to be fair, and Jet Sparrow, your plan is getting a good chunk of people on the other side killed. Pulling a damn eyeball out with a fork. Yeah, that's the thing, though, is that with Jet Sparrow's plan, there are a lot of people getting killed and dead because of it, so it does make you question some things about Jet Sparrow. I mean, he's the reason they're there, he's the reason this battle's happening in the first place. Because they wouldn't even have gone after this ship in the first place. I mean, definitely credit to the stunt people doing their job as best as possibly can with all this. And good stunt work and spectacle with all this. Like, that's a cool looking shot. It falling down and Jeffrey Rush's character just standing there all the way. Go ahead, fall down. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Hey, shoot, they don't do anything. There's no point. They'll just get back up. They can't die. So, Keira Knightley, you know, shooting them ain't gonna do shit. So I don't even know why she's trying to shoot him. What's the point? There you go. Damn, Monty stole the fucking coin. So you have Jack going after the Monty with the medallion, and Kira trying to save Orlando Bloom's character. I could just imagine like having to work underwater, just how scary that would be. I mean, I'm not much of a swimmer to begin with, but you have to hold your breath, and it's like, okay, yeah, suck whatever air you can from this tank. We gotta get out of the shot. We gotta make sure there's no bubbles anywhere else, and then we gotta do action, do your maneuvers, do all this stuff. Hopefully, you do it the right way. You hopefully do it the correct way. If you don't, you gotta do it again and again. I just like how Johnny Depp is just so like I can't work with this guy. Just I mean, I don't know what his whole plan was for this whole thing. I don't know what Jack Sparrow's whole plan was to start with because he didn't want Orlando Bloom to tell who he really was. But it's like, what was his actual plan? Still warm. I thought you couldn't feel anything. Because you say you couldn't feel the cold on his face, but you feel that's warm. Johnny Depp and Jeffrey Rush worked so well together. And Johnny Depp, he's one of those guys that I did grow up liking a lot of his work. I didn't see 21 Jump Street like other people did, the TV show. I knew of it, I've heard of it, but I liked him in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, liked him on Ed Wood. You spent 3 days drinking rum? Welcome to the Caribbean. I always remember the bit after all the rum's gone. Where's all the rum? But yeah, Johnny Depp. Like I said, I always liked him as an actor. Ed Wood is a really good one. Edward Scissorhands he was in. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas I do quite enjoy. And there's been films that I don't like, but he's good. Like Secret Window, I'm not big on. I think it's a very kind of a generic story, but I liked his performance in it. Nick of Time, I thought had his issues, but I thought he was good in it. Yeah, I can't even remember the last film he did. I mean, there was a whole thing with the trial and him and Amber Heard, and while Johnny Depp was not 100% innocent on it, Amber Heard was just deemed just so crazy and psychotic, and that it was easy to get on Johnny Depp's side on the whole manner, or the whole matter, I should say. But why is the rum gone? I'm sorry, just Johnny Depp is just such fun, unique personality in this movie. Like watching this all over again reminds me of just why that became so successful. That people saw the sequels mostly to see Johnny Depp play this character. You didn't. It is interesting that Jeffrey Rush is a villain, such a villain in this, and I think in the other ones they try to make him like part of the good guys, I guess, in a way. So I'm just looking something up real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, Bootstrap Bill does come back in one of the sequels. Yeah, it's played by Stellan Skarsgård. Dead Man's Chest is when he first appeared. God, I don't even remember. So there's this one. Dead Man's Chest is 2. At World's End is 3. On Stranger Tides is 4. And Dead Men Tell No Tales is 5. I just like how confused Jeffrey Rush is. Like, it can't be. It just can't be. It's interesting that each side has these two type of guys. You have these two guys, the church comedic buddies, and then the pirates have the other two. One of them with the eye that's all screwed up. Now go ahead, kill him. Very smart decision. I mean, it's a smart decision on the bad guy's part of why don't we take care of these guys when we can't die. And this in itself is a smart decision. They can't drown, and they would never see him coming, so why wouldn't they use the grounds of the ocean to walk over? And it'd be a hell of a great surprise to be able to do it this way. I do like the detail too that if you see them with the moonlight, they look like the skeleton zombies. But now that you don't see it, you, when they were under in the shadow, you saw them as just regular, and now I see them more as the the zombies. Now there's a lot more people that want to die. I mean, that's the thing. Jack Sparrow's plane gets a lot of people killed if you think about it. It got some of the people that was on Jack's crew killed. It gets some of these soldiers killed. So a lot of, I mean, I guess you could argue like what else would the plan have been? These pirates would have been kept ransacking and killing innocent people and for no who knows how long because they're immortal. But if there's some complicated way to stop it, it's either some die or they could live 100 more years and still be killing. I guess you could think of it that way. I mean, it's PG-13 as a Disney film, but there's still a nice shine away from killing. As long as that's showing blood and gore and stuff. But there are people that do get killed. Not to show the danger of the villains and what's going on. Yeah, you get that rousing music to play. You got some swordplay going on. And when they're fighting the skeleton zombies, reminds me a bit of the Mummy when Brendan Fraser had to fight the those mummy zombies. Which that was a fun, bit of just like a little bit of swashbuckling adventure type in the Mummy. Nice, didn't nice production value on the ships. Nice production value on the other stuff. It's like psych. Go and get the crew out and about. The guy doesn't want to have any of that running and banging there. Did great music during the sword fighting aspects. I do like this reveal, and there you go. Yeah, that was a good like reveal. Backed it up in the moonlight, and it has the audience literally go, ah, okay then, ah, I see. Yeah, and the nice reveal. It seems like though Jack could just tell the guy a lot earlier, your blood in this coin, just put it in the pile, and the curse is lifted. Would you just kill these guys and go home? Stab each other, okay. I'll take your sword, you take mine. We'll just go after him again. Does kind of make you go, what is Jack waiting for? And they're like, what are we doing? Why do we need to do that? It's like, we don't need to do that. I think that ship eventually does come back. I don't know, part of me wonders if it would have been interesting if that ship never actually did come back. And hey, they really did abandon them. They meant what they said. Wah wah wah. I always thought that was a pretty lousy line. You want no pain? Try wearing a corset. It's like, whatever. Bit hard to get out, ain't it? Yep, there you go. Ah, there you go. Well, there you go. Just for them, now they got a chance of life. It's like they want to live as much of it as they possibly can. Well, it all worked out. Jonathan, shut up, Jonathan Price. You didn't do anything. Fuck you. I mean, not the actor, but the character. You didn't do shit. Shut up. You didn't do a goddamn thing. So, well, I mean, since he knows not to take that treasure, is there any other treasure that could be worth the shit? Well, that pair certainly looks familiar. Well, too late now. The guys with guns, I gotta say, are taking their sweet ass time to try aim and shoot. He's like, okay, and then he pulls out a gun and just shoots him right in the head. Well, if that's where your true heart lies, then and there you go. Yeah, I mean, if you think about this film, I mean, I do like that they don't end it on a sequel bait ending or anything. That you could just be looked at as a one shot where you have the one guy who learns the true nature of his father, is able to understand both worlds, as well as the world, of piracy, and get the girl. The girl is able to get with the guy that she wants. Jack Sparrow is able to get his ship back, which is what he wanted in the first place, and to be a captain. And I think he even puts on the hat at the end. So everyone gets what they want. Boy and girl fall in love and happily ever after. The other guy gets his ship and has a new crew. And Captain Jack Sparrow rides again. So, I mean, you kind of. That's the thing, you kind of ended it as, on a nice button. As nice as it can be. That I didn't see there was anywhere else to go. Story wise. But again, when a film makes that much money, it's like, well, we gotta make another one and another one and another one. But there you go. Singing, humming the big song from the ride, and the movie's over. And there you go. So yeah, like I said, I know it was a lot more of just kind of me watching silently and reacting to stuff, but I mean, with commentary, sometimes it's hard to do. Sometimes it's hard for me to really think about what to say because the genre isn't a genre I'm the most familiar with because of pirate films. I love the Goonies, but other than that, I mean, Cutthroat Island, I remember not being big on, and I barely remember much about that. I don't think I ever saw the pirate movie or Pirates with Walter Matthau, or I vaguely remember some of those Errol Flynn films back in the day. I like The Island, the 1980 film with Michael Caine, where he had to deal with like evil pirates. He even gets a minigun and kills a bunch of them at the finale of the film. I liked that movie. Peter Benchley, based on a novel from him, same guy who wrote Jaws, the novel I should say. That of course became the movie. I said I don't remember much about the sequels. So I couldn't really talk about them. The backstory of the film. I mean, I could read stuff off of Wikipedia. I'm listening to the dialogue, just enjoying Johnny Depp's performances. I haven't seen in. I haven't seen this film in a long time. So, sorry, Lucas. That was the best I could do. Sorry, it's a lot of quiet spots, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.